Morning all. I haven't really got a specific topic this morning. I wasn't actually going to do a video, but it was such a nice morning. I thought I'd probably just come out and do something. Um, it's also a bit frustrating because I'm continuing to have technical issues. Um, I had a long chat with my friend Frank from South Carolina, and I can't upload the footage. It's really frustrating, and it does seem to be these raw videos um, are the only ones that I'm managing to do at the moment, which is, like I say, frustrating. But like I say, it was so nice out here this morning. I thought I'd come out, and it's a bit of a milestone here because they've harvested the barley in the field. I don't know if you can see that. And normally that signals to me, it's the end of the summer. Um, but we've had such good weather, and I guess they've done it early, so I guess it was ripe. So I don't get that sense of something coming to an end quite as much. But things are moving pretty fast out there in the political world. The stuff that's been going on in Essex, in Epping, managing to shut the hotel down, which was quite an achievement, really. So, that's quite a big salute to those people. Um, of course, the regime thinks they can just get away with it just by moving these people around. And then so they moved them to the place in Docklands. And immediately there was a protest there, which is also good. And it does seem to have been spreading. Leeds, Southampton, um, Scunthorpe. This is how um, the pressure should be kept up. And it's always tempting to think that the regime will steamroll along, and there's nothing that the little people like us can do. But um, Essex proves that there is. Of course, with all these things, that the fear is that um, that they'll be moved out of the hotels, not because they'll be moved out of the country, perish the thought, but they'll be moved into private accommodation. And of course, that means that they are going to be moved into houses and flats which our tax money, which is paying for all this, will be used to outbid young British families who need somewhere to live. So the injustices never end, really. Um, so it will be that they become even more dispersed. They'll become more dispersed, but they won't become any less visible. And perhaps even the opposite. my feeling is that there's going to be some ugly encounters out there. But the regime doesn't seem to concern itself with such things, except to continue to provoke us, which we must assume is the plan. The plan is to provoke us. Um, so we must all keep our heads and keep our tempers. Which is not easy. But things are moving along. People are affecting change. Um, with the hotel to private accommodation issue, forcing some of that change may mean negative change in the short term. But the positive change is that this is happening. The positive change is that the Overton window has been shifted. The positive change is that mass remigration and mass deportations is becoming a mainstream issue. And we've got some people to thank for that. Yeah. The people who stated that as an aim. Rupert Lowe is running with it, which is good. But um, I have to say the Homeland Party is responsible for that, which was one of their stated aims, to get that policy into the mainstream. But one of the things that has to be, more of the pressure has to be, what would you say, has to be applied to things that the normies won't even have thought of. Um, Certainly, the ground has been gained on the idea of deporting illegal migrants, boat migrants, because that's morally quite clear. I mean, that doesn't really explain why it's been going on for so long, despite its clarity. Um, but there it is. And the other thing that is also morally clear is criminal behaviour, violent criminals in particular, violent sexual criminals specifically, because nobody can defend that. So it's probably it's quite easy to propose those sort of policies, because like I say, it's clear morally. What isn't so clear is the issue that is bigger than illegal migration, and that's legal migration. You know, I saw a post from someone said take a late night ferry. He says that the boat migrants are a distraction. It's not all those people coming in the back door; it's all the people coming in the front door, which probably outnumbers the illegals 10 to 1. And this is always a, you know, I know what the theories are. I know the digital ID theory, the 2030 agenda, the Kalergi plan, the UN document on replacement migration. I know what these theories are, but just because you have a theory, it doesn't necessarily mean that it holds any water. Um, and it's still very difficult to try and work out um, why they're doing this. You know, it's you can make the case for it. Like I say, I'm aware of all the theories. You know, a dilution of the population to remove cohesion, to make people easier to govern. I'm sure all of these things are true, but I think these are sort of second order goals. There's people in, you know, deep in the deep state who will be saying, yeah, well, if we do that, they will be easy to govern. Yeah, that's a good idea as well. That's a good thing as well. But I still don't get the main thrust of why they're doing this. Unless it's biblical, end of the world stuff, which I don't really want to acknowledge, um, for obvious reasons. So now I looked up that this is interesting because I looked up I put into the search bar um, migrant hotels near me, um, and I tried to look for where the closest ones are, and there isn't anywhere that is near me. So, you know, at present, I'm quite fortunate that these people are not in my midst, or so I thought. And last weekend, I was walking with Mrs. X down this little track that we know, um, and it's just a little farm track. I mean, it is metal, it's tarmac some of the way, but you know, it's one of those really rustic ones with the tarmac's like that. You know, it's a mound and there's massive drop offs either side. So it's just tarmac just for, you know, occasional bits of farm machinery, Land Rovers and the like. And we were walking down. It's still very, very narrow, very narrow. And we were walking down, and I heard something behind me, and I turned around, and there was a bus, you know, a full size bus, not a minibus, full-size single-decker bus, and yeah, it wasn't brand new, but it wasn't ancient either. Um, and I thought that's unusual. And as it came past, we squeezed ourselves into the hedge. It was full of migrants. At least they looked like migrants. You know, lots of very, very dark-skinned Africans and Asians. Um, no women, of course. They're all men. Um, they all look to be young men, of course, which confirms our suspicions about all sorts of things. Um, and most of them were wearing high-vis vests, so one presumes they were going off to do some work somewhere, I suppose. But I thought that's interesting because I subsequently searched for migrant hotels near me. There's no Hyatt hotel down there, so there must be some sort of accommodation down there, which is not a hotel, and there are not a lot of houses down there. I mean, I haven't explored it fully, but there must be some accommodation down there. I guess it was. I mean, I guess it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so maybe they were coming back from work to go somewhere. I don't know. But the point I'm making is that even though it's not particularly visible where I am, they're here as they are everywhere. I'm feeling that I don't want to say that we're winning because we're not winning, and I don't want to say that we've got them on the run because we haven't yet. But I'm feeling like paraphrasing the words of one of our great men, perhaps the greatest of all, and to say that this is not the end. It's not even the beginning of the end, but it is perhaps the end of the beginning. Stay free, everybody.